Volcanicus is going to be the next combiner having a 5-star upgrade. So I actually talked about this previously and went through the sort of combiners and talked about what I would like to see and went through some of the combiners. So I won't go through them all again, but we'll just talk about Volcanicus. And at the time when I talked about Volcanicus, I said that he's all about damage. He does incredible damage. Actually does really, really good damage, especially with a 4-star ability. But he just dies too quickly. He's got nothing to protect him, because when you look at the 2-star sword, jump and strike, that's that. Set of area on fire, that's that. And then shower meteors bombard a large area. Quadruple damage to walls. So it's all about fire damage. Now, we already have anti-fire cores, so I think we can go out and really go for this and really give him loads of fire damage. It's got fire cores, a bit like we did, no, not intentionally, but a bit like with Leo Prime. You can go a bit further if you've got counters. When Leo Prime came out, we said, listen, you got anti-fire cores, go and use them, and that was the kind of counter for it. The problem is that Dale has actually found a glitch of Volcanicus, where he's actually doing about triple the fire damage that he should be doing. He was about 12k damage in an area. And so, yes, that will be fixed. But don't worry, guys. I imagine, because we're in the middle of upgrading him, I imagine they'll probably give him the damage that he was doing. So we'll just change the tooltip. So that makes sense. If he's doing triple damage that he was doing, they'll revert it to doing 4.5k. And then probably just give him the 12k damage anyway. Now, my opinion always was that all you need to do was increase the damage of all these 3 abilities and give him a 5-star ability that gives him something like invulnerability or something that gives him some sort of survivability. I thought it's one of the few combiners that was really easy to fix. And so I was a bit surprised when in playtest, the first thing I saw was Dale talking about what he was going to do to Volcanicus. And this is the idea. So the first idea was for the 2-star to leap into battle, striking enemies in an area, dealing fire damage. Each jump grants 15% more damage reduction and 10% increased damage. For the rest of the battle, deal double damage to enemies that are set ablaze for the next 4 seconds. Then for the 3-star ability, is that right? No, yeah, for the 3-star ability, it was set a wide area on fire, dealing damage and setting enemies ablaze. And then for the 4-star ability, it was rain down meteors, dealing X amount of damage for 11 seconds. And setting enemies ablaze deal 15% less damage. Now, I felt I was going in the right direction. And I thought, yeah, okay, he's giving some survivability. And probably all we need to do from then is just bump up the numbers, give him some more damage, and then see where we're going from there. But then we started sort of getting into the conversations in playtest. I think with me personally, I mean, a lot of playtesters will probably disagree with this. Me personally, I feel like we got away from what he was doing and sort of started to get a bit... I always say this. If you're going to do something to a bot, just make it do something good. Whatever it is. Doesn't matter what it is. But make it do it good. And then we started talking about adding acid to it. We started talking to a lifesteal as well. They started talking about a long cooldown. What else? There was loads of things that we started to talk about. Then we had gain 10% damage reduction for the rest of the battle every time you jump. Small area. Then we had execute a building or combiner near you under 25% health upon your death. Grant ally bots in the battlefield and Megatronus effect. I did like the idea of an after death effect in Megatronus, but I just feel like we're talking about like just give it damage reduction and stuff, but I feel like they've gone far too much into detail. And what happens here is that they started all this stuff and something doesn't work and we don't know what. And that's what happened with Ruination. Because he had this water damage and he had this stun and he had this shield and he had this and he had so many things. I mean, if you take a look at Ruination, what it's actually got, there's no wonder why it doesn't work. And so you've got charge, doing damage, stun on the way for 13 seconds, also grants a shield that halves damage, but then once mixed with tidal wave, it gets extended. Then you've got the tidal wave that unleashes a wave. Then it does damage to targets, reducing their attack and defense. Then it stuns them, and EMP effects are extended. Then you've got shockwave that does damage to targets in a line. Ones that have got the tidal wave or are stunned, hit by this, have explosions. Once activated, allies receive 5% ability to increase upon combiner's death. Then you've got the 4 bots coming out as well. The 4 bots are quite an easy one, but you can see how many different parts there are to it to make it very easy to miss something, to make it not do as it should. And I just think was going down a bit down that route with Volcanicus of adding far too many things. I just think we need to, me personally, if I was to make this combiner now without any sort of outside influence, I would make him jump and go invisible. There's no we've got FFD, we've got all these things, but I feel like we've done the shield thing, we've done the damage reduction thing, but there's none of going invisible really. I mean, I know that Comptron does a bit, but I think jumping and going invisible for like 5 seconds will be pretty cool and increase his survivability. So jump, do damage, go invisible. That's pretty easy to do. Set a wide area on fire. Okay, just need to bump that up, yeah. And then the meteor, I think it just needs to do more damage. And dead simple, just more damage in a bigger area. I would literally give it like almost like half the map, just like a massive fire damage in an area. And again, we can go a bit crazy with this because we've got anti-fire cores, so we can go a bit mental. And the 5-star ability idea of giving bots Megatronus, I do like that as an after death effect. I thought that was come from the playtesters, I think, and I thought that was really cool. Again, this bot is all about fire. So if you have a jump and it goes invisible, that invisibility needs to last, say, 2/3 of the cooldown between jumps. So he jumps, goes invisible, comes alive, takes some damage for a couple of seconds, then he can jump again, goes invisible, do some damage, then he comes available again, takes some damage. So you can sort of see that you can use that jump to get him about the place, doing some damage, get the cooldowns working again, maybe even give him a bit of life steal depending on how much damage he's doing, but it keeps him alive. You know, I don't think we need to do all this damage reduction shield thing again. You know, I think we're just really overthinking it, where like every jump does more damage. We don't even need that really. He just needs to be able to jump again. Just make sure that he survives long enough, because that's his main problem right now. We'll have it in test by next week, and you'll be able to see it a bit more. So until then, let me know what your thoughts. What would you like to see on Volcanicus? What do you think would be a really cool ability? What do you think would be a really cool effect? Keeping in with his lore of, you know, Dinobots and fire and doing a lot of damage. That's what I imagine around, you know, Dinobots being really powerful. So let me know in the comments what you think. What would you like to see for Volcanicus?